Good morning, Scott here. Hope you're well. So the markets yesterday were a little bit weird. Didn't quite move in our favour in a few cases, but a few things are setting up today. The price action yesterday was a bit kind of unpredictable and it made it a little bit messy for today. But there are a few setups that are worth looking at. So we'll dive into those straight away. So starting off with the higher time frames, we look at Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi's been rejecting this level for quite a while, and it's never really broken higher, but maybe it has now. So let's go to the lower time frames just to have a look. And what we see is these downtrend lines have been broken quite clearly. It's now broken the 1 hour 50, this red line, and we come back and we tested it. So actually looks like the entry's already gone. What time of day was that? That was in a really low volume hour, so that's not a trade I want to take anyway. So we'll see what happens now. Maybe it'll hang around here for a bit because the volume only just started coming in for the last hour or so. We'll see. Otherwise, that one could be gone. The next step will be waiting for a break of the 4 hour 50, this blue line, and we'd have a CBO. This obviously is an IBO. Faked out to the low side, and then broke back through it again, and then created a nice little IBO. Anyway, see if anything comes out of that later. Not looking like it's going to happen. Euro Swiss was hanging around this level, looked like it's going to go down, but yesterday was very bullish. So the bullish candle yesterday, and maybe that will continue today. We'll see what the lower time frames give us. The 1 hour. Let's zoom into the 1 hour. So I see it's quite a nice little uptrend. A bit messy, but it's an uptrend. High highs, high lows. Until yesterday, we had this. Like it could have been it was a lower high and maybe a lower low as well, just for a small part of the day, and then it's broken to the upside again. So that could give us a nice little pip snatcher. Entry at the pivot, just a one-to-one trade, getting the 1% before these highs and the low behind the R1, this line here. So that will give us try and get a one-to-one, and the full 1 hour 50 is still a bit behind Euro Swiss, so that won't happen for another 6 hours or so. So it gives us time for this to catch up. That could be a nice little pip snatcher. Let's have a look. As I normally do with pip snatches, do we have anything to tell us that the trend is over? Well, we've got a higher high on the MACD and on the price action, so that's agreeing. The RSI is also a little bit higher. We have this low here, this higher low, which is what we want to see in an uptrend, and we have a lower low here. And what that actually is telling us that the trend is going to continue, which is what we saw last night. So the trend did continue, and it goes another higher. So there's nothing there to tell us that the trend is over. So the pip snatcher is still on. Is there a trend line? Not really. It's kind of been going. It's accelerated a bit for yesterday's price action, but that could be a nice little pip snatcher for later. Okay, Euro Kiwi. On the daily, it's putting back. Then we had a reversal candle yesterday, so a very strong up day, implying that will continue today. MACD still looks healthy, so it could still be going up from here. The trend could continue higher. The RSI was very overbought back here, but since then it's pretty much got back to the halfway line yesterday. So the uptrend could now continue. So the uptrend could continue. Let's see what the lower time frames give us. We don't really have Elliott wave here from these lows, but we do have a higher high, indicating a trend change. We've got a very strong breakthrough. This is the daily 20, this thin red line. This is the hourly 50, and this is the 4-hour 50. So breaking through all of those, looking pretty strong. And the fibs line up nicely. We go to the fib from the lows of this run to the highs. That'll give us the fib lines up perfectly with the 4-hour 50. The 1-hour 50 is catching up pretty good. And that could give us a nice little CBO, complete breakout of both the 1-hour and the 4-hour 50. Entry at the 382 and the stop just behind the 618. And that looks like a good potential there. Take profit. You could go for these highs up here, or you might go just a little bit lower behind this R1 for the daily pivots, which is these highs here. So by the way, it looks very nice, and let's hope that one comes in later. Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, another reversal. Looking like the trend is about to continue, but we haven't actually reached the daily 20. So it's a bit discretionary whether you want to take this as a trend continuation, because this trend could just be doing an ABC pullback and pull back into the daily 20-50 zone. So that's a bit of a warning sign. Not perfect. We've had this good rejection from this trend line, which shown you before. Go back on the monthly for many years, and it seems to be respected again. Does the MACD give us anything? RSI was pretty overbought, not quite reset down to the halfway line yet, so it could pull back further. The MACD is not giving us anything, so mixed signals there. Weekly, we come down, tested the weekly 50 and could be bouncing off of that. So we've got lots of mixed signals. Is it going higher, or is it going to continue the retracement? We're looking at the lower time frames. We have a very bullish day yesterday. We had the gap up on the open and a very strong run, breaking the 1-hour 50 and the 4-hour 50. So this could be the ACBB, because it's like an IBO. So actually, you could even have this as a CBO. Yeah, this is a CBO because we've broken both the 4-hour 50 and the 1-hour 50. If we look at the 4-hour chart, this one up here, we can see that clear gap here, and that's a nice break and retest of the 4-hour 50 as well, or close to a retest. So that is a CBO. And back to this, and here we are, break and retest. The fibs line up reasonably well with the 1-hour 50 and the pivot. 4-hour 50 is here before the 618, and stop just below that. So that makes us a CBO. That makes us stop protected by the 618 and the 4-hour 50. Entry is about now, and take profit be around these highs. I suggest is a good starting point. Use your trade management to work out what's best for you. Is there any Elliott wave here? No. This is like it could be a wave 1, wave 2 pullback. This would be a wave 3, in which case we're going much higher. Quick look at the daily again, and Elliott wave here, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. This could be wave 5, which you wouldn't want to push past this trend line or these highs. So it's unlikely this is a wave 1, unless we get a very short wave 3. Anyway, so it's looking like we could have a nice little CBO on here, although the higher time frames are a bit mixed. A CBO to these highs definitely on the cards. That's looking quite nice. And Kiwi Swiss, the last one that's selling up right now. We've had a run up to the daily 50, nice rejection yesterday and a pullback with a bearish candle and imply we're going to get some kind of downward momentum today, breaking through that daily 20. Lower time frames. So the strong uptrend has been broken. Always like doing this. It's always nice when you see trend lines being respected, broken, and then retested at the daily 50, this green line. So we have a rejection of the daily 50, rejection of this trend line, a breakdown below this hourly 50, and we now have a lower low. This low is a lower low. Is it a trend change? Not completely, because we haven't got a lower high yet from this high, but this entry will hopefully give us a lower high. But by then, of course, we're in the position, so that doesn't really help us. It looks like the trend has changed. It looks like this is the IBO that is playing out right now. And if you manage to get on this, then that could be a good opportunity for an IBO, and it'll be a C because we've got the 450s already been tested. So we'll be trading through the 450. Is there 1% before the 450? No. So you won't be able to remove risk completely before, I mean, you hit 1% profit before you hit the 450. So a little bit riskier to be considered. But for an aggressive trader, that could be a nice little IBO C. If not, just wait for the CBO, which we'll hopefully get in the next day or so. And we go back to the daily. Elliott wave here, wave 1, wave 2 pullback, a wave 3, that's a daily 50. This could be a wave 4 pullback. So we wouldn't really expect this to go down to the lows. Let's just do a bit of fib on it. We do the fib for wave 3. How far do you expect to pull back on wave 4? But it's already pulled back far enough. So if we use the Elliott wave on the daily, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 pullback could be complete already, and we're going for wave 5 up to the highs of the daily 50. So a little bit mixed. But that's looking like a good IBOC. Right, so nothing really perfect on that one. Let's quickly look at the one which may set up soon. Aussie yen. Yen's been off the cards a bit because of these crazy wicks over the last 2 days. The other yen pairs I've discounted, and really you can discount this one as well. If you ignore these crazy wicks, you could have an IBO short, just playing out about now, entry about now. Daily pivot's about here. It's just broken it. Could be a little bit of spring loading before it carries on going short. I would suggest waiting for the break of the 4-hour 50. Then we're getting a lower low, lower than this low. We have to ignore these big movements here, which I think is currency manipulation or bond market purchases or whatever they do. But I think the CBO would be my choice anyway. I think the IBO is a little bit risky for this crazy action. The other one I like, which could be selling up, is Kiwi CAD, and we've bounced up to the daily 50. Clearly rejected yesterday, and maybe that's going to continue lower. MACD. There's a big MACD from here down to here. MACD divergence, implying that maybe it's going higher. Further, not really much else on there, is there? Let's go to look at the weekly, and the weekly looks like it's very oversold. Yeah, very oversold. Due for a bit of a bounce. And monthly oversold as well, due for a bounce. So yeah, not really much on the weekly or the monthly. Maybe going to continue higher, but for the short term, looks like we could have a short trade there. And again, because of this sideways price action, I wouldn't be taking this IBA from here. I would, although the fibs probably line up very well. It looks about right from here. Yeah, pretty perfectly. The fib and the pivot, daily pivot line lining up well for short trade, but I would prefer to wait for a CBO because you can see the 450 is being respected here, and respected again. So on a clear break of the 450, pull back, and then maybe later today or tomorrow a CBO short down to these lows. Okay, there we go. Where's my thing? I'll start there. Right, okay, so there's a few things there, nothing really tasty. Market's been a little bit unsteady still, so we'll just see how we go. Hopefully you're doing well in these unpredictable markets, and patience is the key. Wait for really nice setups. Things that really look really good. Setups good. The higher time frames agree with the lower time frame setups, and yeah, just be patient. Because soon it'll turn around and there'll be setups everywhere and you won't know where to turn. Okay, wish you all the best. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care.